Hi, welcome. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. And today we are interviewing the Oakland Schools Deputy Superintendent named Ken Gutman. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Max. How are you?
Good. What is your schedule like? And nice background, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much. What is my
You're
schedule like?
welcome. Yes.
So, a really good question. It depends on the day. I spend a lot of time visiting school districts. Today I was in Ferndale and also visited Clarenceville. Tomorrow I'm in Berkeley. So, part of my job is helping all 28 of our local districts and our public school academies within Oakland County. So, there's really no typical day, but I could be at Oakland schools, which is pictured in my background. I could be at a local school district. I could be meeting with legislative leaders in Lansing. I could be just about anywhere, but it's all focused on helping all of the 250,000 students in Oakland County.
Do you ever have anxiety while or before you are making a decision of like if you were gonna remove a technology thing from all the districts in Oakland County schools?
I don't know that I have anxiety about it, but I can promise you I give it a lot of thought. I always want to make good decisions, and I know that every decision I make and the people around me make does affect students and affects children. And so I wouldn't call it anxiety, but I'd give it careful consideration.
What is the easiest thing to make a decision on?
Uh, Gosh, the easiest thing to make a decision on is probably around good instruction. There's a lot of research out there, and I won't bore you with it, Max, but there's a lot of research out there on good instruction. We know what good instruction looks like. And so decisions relative to what's good instruction for students is probably an easy decision. The getting that instituted and making sure that that actually takes place is a little more difficult.
You can go into some of that, the detail, like what are the really interesting things that you're looking at right now. I mean, I happen to know school schedule off the back of that we need a certain amount of hours so that if you were to change the schedule,
Yeah.
I know that, so you're not gonna bore me with that if you
Well,
go.
that's good to know. Yeah, 1,098 hours, 180 school days, absolutely. And so let me ask you a quick question, Max.
Yes.
Do you think we should have schools year round and have summers off since you know scheduling, or do you think summers off that's a good thing for students?
Well, I feel like that's a controversial question
It
because
is.
at points it's like it's good to have a little break and rest, but then going into academics, like a lot in scores, like for what they talk about, it's normal to see a drop. So it's like that part, the rough part, like an NWEA scores of like,
Yeah.
do you want to keep it going up higher then maybe, or not type thing?
Yeah. Well said.
What is the hardest thing to make a decision on?
Well, I will tell you the hardest thing in the past when I was a superintendent in both Lake Orion and Walled Lake was deciding on a snow day. Because when we call snow days, we make a certain percentage of people unhappy, and certainly we make students happy. And then when we don't call a snow day, it's the opposite. So that was always challenging. But I think, you know, when I look back to my years as a superintendent and an assistant superintendent, some of the most difficult decisions revolve around student discipline and making sure we're only disciplining students to the degree that it changes behavior and not being punitive. And so expulsions I find particularly difficult decisions because you certainly want to make sure you leave students with dignity and respect and a chance to come back and be successful.
So I've read articles about New York and snow days of all their days are virtual. Being that you being the deputy superintendent of Oakland schools, are you working to make that a thing, or is a snow day gonna be a snow day for everyone in the Oakland school area or Oakland County?
Really good question. Thank you, Max.
You're
So
welcome.
Oakland Schools doesn't get to decide what districts do. All 28 local school districts decide whether there are snow days or whether there's instruction during snow days. My opinion is the first couple of snow days should be snow days, that students and teachers and everyone else should enjoy their time, go make snowmen, stay inside, drink hot chocolate, whatever makes them happy. If we start getting a number of snow days, we get into 3, 4, 5, 6 snow days, then yes, there's a place for instruction. But as I'm sure you know, the challenge with having instruction is that not everyone has access to it. And what you don't want to do is put students who don't have access further behind in the curriculum.
I know right now there's a whole lot of Chromebooks still out at people's houses
Right.
and that Wi-Fi hotspots. And I know some schools in our district, like Roosevelt, has asked for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That's the challenge.
so are you guys starting to ask for them back type thing?
Well,
As
they don't have our devices. They have, like, West Bloomfield has its own devices. So no, we're not asking for them back. Now, we do provide technology services to district, but the Chromebooks belong to the West Bloomfield schools. And it's
so
a challenge because you're right, not everybody's returning.
well, at the middle school level, I just know about Roosevelt because I have a sibling there that they've asked for them, but the middle school hasn't asked for them. And I read the newsletters, emails, and all that, and
Yeah.
nothing about returning Chromebooks.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm sure they'll ask at some point.
Yeah, I'm sure soon, but like it's interesting of like how long are we gonna keep them and how long with the wireless hotspots that they have are they gonna actually keep those out there for?
Absolutely.
Because I mean, that's the nice part right now of if we did have a snow day and they decided it's gonna be on Zoom. Not saying they will, because then you have to plan for it, and then it's a last minute on the spot thing too. So
Right.
there's a con
Yeah.
of then you have to get ready. What if you guys have those wireless hotspots? Then the people who have poor internet connection can't get back.
Right. It's a challenge. You're absolutely right.
So you do have pros and cons to both of those.
Absolutely right.
Alrighty, what is the hardest thing? Wait, I asked you that.
It's okay.
What is your favorite thing to make a decision on? And tea is good too, and so is coffee sometimes. I have a tea mug, but my background won't let me use it.
Oh, gotcha. So you like tea and coffee? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, I mean, hot chocolate's good too. I mean, personally, it's all good.
All right. Well, I'm a coffee drinker in the morning and hot tea in the afternoon. So I'm with you. I'm with you
All
on the
right,
coffee and
now I
tea
do have
thing.
to ask you, what kind of coffee?
I'm a Starbucks guy. I like Starbucks coffee, and I like a little Green Mountain, a little strong coffee as well. What about you?
I mean, I like the medium roast. I mean, bold is all right, but medium roast seems to be really good.
All right. Be careful. Don't drink too much coffee.
I don't
Good.
drink too much.
Good. Good. So you asked me what the most fun decision is. Is
No,
that
your favorite thing to make a decision on.
favorite thing to make a decision about? Wow. I'm not sure that I have a favorite. I make a lot of decisions in a given day, and I don't know that there's a favorite. I have favorite results of decisions I've made. My favorite results involve students being successful, teachers being successful, principals being successful, and in my new job, working with superintendents across the county, helping them be successful and navigate difficult conversations, difficult situations. So that's something I enjoy, if that helps.
When did you become the deputy superintendent of Oakland schools?
Thank you. I just started
You're
July
welcome.
1st. July 1st. I was a superintendent in Lake Orient, and then I was a superintendent in Walled Lake. So I was a superintendent for 14 years. And I began July 1st as the deputy at Oakland Schools, which allows me to work with all 28 local districts.
We'll get more into that of an in-depth of like where situated of like which schools specifically and other career stuff
Sure.
later on.
Okay.
What is your least favorite thing to make a decision on?
Least favorite. I don't know that I have a least favorite either. They're all challenging decisions, and I don't know that I have a least favorite. As long as what I'm doing can help students be successful, I'll make the decision whether it's a favorite or not.
Alrighty, now this can be a controversial question,
All right, go for it.
but who is your favorite person to work with?
Hmm. So currently, my favorite person to work with is Dr. Wanda Cook Robinson, who's the superintendent of Oakland Schools. We've worked together for about 15 years as superintendents, and she's an outstanding national leader. state leader and local leader, and she's a lot of fun to work with.
And now your calendar manager, does she manage both uh superintendents of Oakland schools calendars or just yours?
Just mine, just mine.
Oh, so you have that advantage of just your calendar gets managed. So if you need something added or not, you have that.
I do, and the superintendent has someone who manages her calendar as well. We get very busy.
What is your superintendent history?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So let me go back before that, if that's okay.
Oh, that is okay. That was my other question too.
Let me jump in on that.
Career history.
I anticipated that, so let me start there. I began on the grounds, not in the same building, because you are in a beautiful new middle school. I just had a chance to visit. So I began as a teacher at Orchard Lake Middle School, which is on the grounds of West Bloomfield Middle School. I taught English, Spanish, and American history. I then went on to become the assistant principal of Orchard Lake Middle School. From there, I went to Lake Orion Schools as the principal of Scripps Middle School. I did that for a few years and became an assistant superintendent of human resources for a couple of years, then became an assistant superintendent of curriculum and instruction, and then became the superintendent of Lake Orion. Prior to that, or after that, subsequent to that, I went to Walled Lake and spent the last 12 years as the superintendent of the Walled Lake Consolidated School District.
Do you know Mr. Redtoy personally from being a teacher at Orchard Lake Middle School or any of the other teachers?
I do not know Mr. Reptoy. I do know, let's see, Mrs. Lamorato.
She's still there.
I know her and Mr. Keikos.
He's there now too.
Mr. Weingarten.
He's still there.
Yeah, those are the ones I think who are still there who I know. I worked with them. I actually was fortunate enough to be able to hire Mr. Weingarten and Mrs. Lamorato.
Oh, now a funny story related to that. I heard that my math teacher this year was a part of the interview committee at some point and hired Miss Hughes, who is the principal of the school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who's your teacher?
I have Fellman for math.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. I've known Miss Hughes forever. Long time. She's a great person and a great principal.
Everyone is great, honestly, at the school. They work together, make it seem any tough decision making of like that it's tough, but seamless almost of like,
wow,
where it's like it's hidden and then it's just a decision made.
I love to hear that.
Do you have anything to do with like the hiring of any of the superintendents?
I don't. I'm not involved in hiring them, but I am involved with them prior to them interviewing. I have a number of superintendents with whom I work who we kind of practice interview together and spend time watching interviews together. I have the opportunity to help a number of them prepare for their interviews, but no, I don't hire superintendents.
Did you get to help the new superintendent of our district, Dr. Bozzi?
You know, I went to grad school with Dr. Bozzi. I've known her for probably 20 years. She's wonderful. We took a number of classes together, but I wasn't involved in her hiring process.
Oh. Do you have a favorite place to be a superintendent at?
Everywhere I've been. Really, Max, I had a great time in Lake Orion. I've had a wonderful time in Walled Lake, and I'm really enjoying being a deputy at the county level. What
is your favorite thing about your job?
Probably working with all 28 superintendents. Part of my job is to kind of help them, guide them, be there as a resource for them. So I get to sit down and talk to superintendents a lot of the time and help them troubleshoot what are some really challenging situations. And I think I enjoy that the most.
Do you have a favorite district out of all the 28 districts?
I do not, and if I did, I promise you I wouldn't share.
Okay. Yep, keep favoritism to yourself. I mean, honestly, it's the better thing to do because then if someone hears it, then it's like, you really have a favorite? Oh, no.
I've enjoyed West Bloomfield when I was there. I enjoyed Bloomfield Hills when I was a student teacher there, when my children graduated from Bloomfield. I enjoyed Lake Orion. I enjoyed Walled Lake. and I've enjoyed visiting all of the other districts. So there's no favorite.
Being the deputy superintendent of Oakland schools, what do you have in plans to make Oakland County schools better?
Yeah, so I'm going around right now and meeting with superintendents to ask them what they think they need. Because at Oakland Schools, we're a service agency. So we provide service and support and leadership for all of our districts. So I'm going around and meeting with superintendents and taking some good notes to see what they want us to do, what they kind of support they need, especially coming out of a pandemic, especially in a politically charged environment. What do districts need? So until I know what they need, I won't create a plan to help them be successful. I really need to know what the diverse needs are across the county.
Have you met with our superintendent of West Bloomfield schools yet?
I have not met with her over this, but I have met with her a number of times over the years.
Okay,
I think the world of her, and I look forward to meeting with her to ask what her needs are in West Bloomfield.
because then my final question for that would be of what were some of the plans and what do you have in mind to do it?
Yeah, and I don't know what she has in mind, so I need to have that conversation with Dr. Bazzi before I could even begin to say that.
I just had my interview 2 weeks ago with her.
And what did you think? Isn't she great?
Yes, it's fun.
Yeah, she's great.
Now, a totally random question. Now, I didn't think you were going to come into it with a background of where you work.
Yeah,
Where is your office located if using that background, or are you not?
yeah, great questions. So my office is in the Pontiac Waterford area. It actually resides in Waterford. It's across from the county executive's office on Pontiac Lake Road. It's really close to where the courthouse is, the sheriff's department is, and a lot of the central government for Oakland County. And it's in the building that you see in my background. That's where my office is.
Ah, like, can you tell me specifically in like which area pointing to it?
Let's see if I can find it on there. It's over my, yeah, it's actually right up in the main area. I can't do this like this. Right up in that area, and it's up on the 3rd floor.
Nice. What do you do for fun?
So I love to spend time with my sons. My sons are both away at college at the moment, but I do see them. I like to attend Michigan State events. I'm a big Spartan. That's always fun. I like to read, do a lot of reading, both personally and professionally, and I like to spend a lot of time on my treadmill.
The game that they did with Michigan the other day, it was a good game, but that the thing that happened after was very unfortunate and that it shouldn't have happened. But
We agree it's awful.
I would like to know why some people believe that doing that is okay when it isn't.
Yeah, I don't know that I could explain that for them.
What makes you smile outside of your job?
My sons make me smile all the time. They both did really well in school. They're both doing really well. One's in grad school and one's a junior in college, and they're both highly successful, motivated, great young men. And so they make me smile a lot. I'm really proud of them.
When did you start becoming a superintendent?
About 14 years ago, and about 17 or 18 years ago, I became an assistant superintendent. I've been in education now. This is my 31st year. And I've been a superintendent. It was 14 years as a superintendent, 3 as an assistant prior to that, and now deputy for the county.
What other levels of being a superintendent are there in Oakland school?
Oh, yeah. So that's really good. Thanks. So there's an
Welcome.
assistant superintendent of business services. There's an assistant superintendent of human resources. There's an assistant superintendent of technology and shared services. And then I'm the deputy and there's a superintendent. So there are 5 of us.
Oh, and every one of them has their own calendar manager?
They do. Actually, they do. Yes.
Now, using all of the calendar people, including yours, do you have a favorite calendar person to work with?
Wow, they do so much more than calendar. I mean, they are executive assistants who are very skilled at a lot of things and provide us tremendous support to all of us. Of course, I have to be partial to my personal executive assistant, Mrs. Rhonda Hervey. She's really fantastic, wonderful person, and really good at her job, but they're all wonderful as well.
Tell her I have emailed her for an interview as well.
I will let her know that.
And
Absolutely.
now it is using my school account, not my home account. So the one that she's emailed to get it into your calendar, that account.
Okay. I'll let her know.
Alrighty. Thank you. And what other things other than education have you done in your career?
Right when I graduated from Michigan State, I did manage a restaurant for a couple of years to save money for graduate school. But other than that, I've been in education for 31 years, and there's nothing else I'd rather do. It's a great profession.
So now what is your education?
I have a bachelor's degree from Michigan State University, a master's degree in teaching from Wayne State University. I have an education specialist certificate from Wayne State, and I actually completed all of my coursework and my qualifying exams for the doctorate, but ended up taking on two superintendent jobs and didn't complete the doctorate. So I have all the coursework done for a doctorate, but I do have two degrees and an education specialist certificate.
What are your hobbies?
um, reading, treadmill, education's a hobby as well. You know, when I was a teacher and assistant principal, the superintendent of West Bloomfield was Dr. Seymour Gretschko. I don't know if you've heard that name. You may have because it's a school named after him.
Yep, I was just gonna say, I feel like that name's familiar in our district.
Right. And I don't think he had hobbies. I think education was his hobby as well. And I was really impressed with that. Although, I don't know that I have much of a life outside of education, but I do know that it's a passion of mine and I enjoy spending time on it.
What is your favorite thing to do on the weekends?
Again, it's reading, it's exercising, going to the gym, it's spending time on my treadmill, it's spending time with my sons when I can. And then I do a little bit of work on the weekends as well, Max, because I always have to catch up.
And never not go a day without checking emails. I know it's like, I'm young and I'm like, I'm gonna check my emails. Otherwise, I don't know if I can stand 100 emails in my inbox.
Exactly.
I think I have at least 7 per inbox.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than that, everything has to be in folders. They have to be organized.
That's great. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Now, I'm not sure if you know the answer to this question, but after you left Orchard Lake Middle School, I believe, or was it Abbott?
Orchard Lake.
Who became the principal? Who fulfilled your role?
So I was an assistant principal. The principal was a gentleman by the name of John Hoy, and he remained the principal. And I think the person who replaced me was Neil Curry for a couple of years. And I think he's retired now as well.
Was Miss Graff at Abbott, or
I believe she was a counselor at Abbott at the time.
Oh.
And she's wonderful. One of my favorite people in West Bloomfield.
She's the one of the assistant principals now.
Yes.
And that was the last question I have. Now it's time for the thank yous. First of all, I'd like to thank you for joining and taking time to join.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me, Matt.
You're welcome. I would also like to thank Miss Lisa Graff for composing this email. Without her, this day would not be possible.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And also for you and your and Miss Rhonda Hervey for taking care of calendar, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Max. It's my pleasure.
You're welcome.
A pleasure to meet you. And
such a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
If you ever stop by the middle school, just email me. I'll find a time to find you.
I would love that. If I ever stop by, I will definitely meet you in person.
Yes, I know the whole building.
I'll bet. Yeah, great, beautiful school.
I did student tours when there was the what was it? The grand opening.
I was there that night.
Was I near? Were you talking to Miss Graff at one point?
I was. At one point that night, I said hello.
I might have been there, but I might not have.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
If not, I'm thinking of being near the board, one of the board members.
Okay, that could be. Yeah, it was a great event.
Yes, it was. Alrighty. Take care.
You too. Thanks, Max.
You're welcome.
All right.